Hello everybody, Icy Night here with Night Patrol 2, Awakening, a New Era by Foxgear. Princess Luna, are you here? Please answer me, Your Highness. I'm here. Please stop shouting, this is a library. Luna, Princess of the Night, scolded the gray guard pony. The bluish armor he wore was supposed to mark him as one of her night guards, a new division of the royal guard that was started after her return from her 1,000-year banishment. Really, they were just the night shift guards, given new armor and told to follow her around by the captain of the guard, Shining Armor, the older brother of her sister's pride student, Twilight Sparkle, the pony that brought her back from the darkness of Nightmare Moon, and for that, the Lavender Unicorn had her eternal respect. Respect Shining Armor did not have at all at this moment. Not that Luna hated or despised the White Stallion personally. The captain of the guard simply has yet to earn her respect, as she has not had the chance to test his mettle in a spar or see him on the battlefield. Some place she was certain he's never been to because of the peaceful times they live in now. It seems Equestrian's monster problem had been significantly reduced to nearly nothing during her absence. A joyful thought, no doubt, but Luna couldn't help but worry what the long-term effects could be, as there was no way to keep their soldiers up to snuff without the constant threat of attack. Of course, then again, maybe it was already too late. The royal guards of today were not much when compared to Celestia's two guards in the past, Bison and Stronghold, and they weren't even on the same page as she compared them to her night patrollers. Maybe that was being too unfair. Her night patrollers have been the best warriors any pony could ask for. And not just that, they had been her friends. Princess Luna, are you listening? No, I'm afraid I'm not. What's your name again? Luna has been having a hard time telling ponies apart these days, especially the Royal Guard ponies. In white, more white, and then gray, and then more gray, and they all had the same hair color and style. It was honestly kind of creepy to her, almost like Celestia somehow cloned them from a magical pool of water that actually exists. Now that she thinks about it, she would have to ask Celestia about this later. Oh, I'm Goodnight. Goody for short. I've been following you around since I was assigned to you last week. There was hurt in his voice, and Luna felt a little bad about that. On the other hand, he nor his fellow guards could not seem to understand the concept of leaving her alone, even after her ordering them to do just that. She could not for the life of her understand this idea of constant guards around her. 1,000 years ago was much more dangerous, with monsters, assassins, evil mad scientist ponies trying to gain immortality, and much, much more. But she never had constant guards back then. She certainly didn't need them now. Deciding to ignore Goodnight for now, since he seemed fine standing there and staring at her all day, so be it. She had better things to do. Things such as figuring out these darn tax laws. How in Equestria did this work? Why was everything so confusing and complicated? Who made this? If Luna was to be co-ruler again, she would need to familiarize herself with current affairs. Some things had been easy. Celestia wasn't inclined to changing things often, and since she was sole ruler, not much was changed during Luna's time gone. Not that didn't mean there was progress. In fact, technology was progressed swimmingly, with trains and airships carrying ponies all over the place. Gadget, or Starwind the Beardless, as history remembers him, would be proud to see his inventions prospering. Language has also stayed the same, or at least similar. Some vocabulary has changed, and some new words and new meanings for old words appeared here and there for Luna could understand. Really though, ponies weren't speaking much different than 1,000 years ago. Clearly the way ponies write has changed. Gone was the old roan writing, replaced with a modern version of the Alabon writing style. Overall, nothing too difficult for Luna to read. Setting the text code aside for now, Luna stared out onto the training fields below, watching the royal guards go through their drills. Sadly, she lifted her scrawly leg, once big and powerful like her sisters. A month has passed since her return, and she has yet to regain her former power and form from before Nightmare Moon. It sickened her to feel this weak. She needed to regain her magic, and quickly. The only way to do that was to start from the beginning again with her training. I'm going outside. I assume you'll be coming too. Good night. Yes, ma'am. The stallion saluted enthusiastically. Very well, try to keep up, please, she told him, vanishing from sight with a quick teleport. From outside the window, Luna snickered as the guard pony ran off in a panic trying to find her. Maybe she was being a bit mean, but the princess really just wanted to be alone at the moment. Though Celestia would probably be paying her a visit later tonight after she finishes her duties for the day, wanting to know how Luna was adjusting and all that. Not that Luna minded her sister's mother hinting. She would probably be doing the same if their roles were reversed. It was just that pony with a pocket watch always following her sister annoyed the living Tartarus out of her. Timekeeper was his name, or was it she? Either way, the pony was annoying, and she wanted to throw that watch out the window. Luna was surprised Celestia let Timekeeper get away with interrupting their conversations all the time, complaining about a schedule that only he or she seemed to know and care about. Really gotta start writing down names. I wasn't always this bad at remembering names, was I? Luna pondered as she easily flew through the air. She needed to work her body to regain her strength. Having a sparring partner would be helpful. Celestia was too busy to spar anymore. Were there any ponies worth asking in the guards? Hey, look out! What? Luna snapped awake, spotting an incoming blur of orange, blue, and yellow at high speeds. Nimbly she twisted and turned, barrel rolling over the incoming pony as they crashed into a pile of clouds. When the pony emerged, they were sporting a big fluffy cloud beard. Luna couldn't contain herself and snickered at the pony's misfortune. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. But it's hilarious if you think about it. The pony growled as they removed themselves from the cloud and angrily approached Luna, and did something the Princess of the Night thought no pony in the right mind would have the stones to do. The pony, a mare, poked her in the chest rather hard too. What do you think you're doing, Featherbrain? Do you even know where you're flying right now? I bet you don't, otherwise you won't be here, would you? Now the pony was yelling at her. That was certainly new. Still, what was she talking about? There was nothing here except for that military base over there. Oh, Luna suddenly realized she was at the Pegasi Air Base. Seems she interrupted a drill or something. My apologies. I was simply lost in thought and did not realize where I was going. I'll be getting out of your mane now. Feel free to carry on, Luna said, brushing aside the pony, wanting to quickly leave lest she embarrasses herself further. But strangely enough, the pony flew in front of her and blocked her path. Do you think you can just fly away like that? Do you know who I am? I am Spitfire, captain of the Wonderbolts, and you're trespassing in a restricted airspace. I hope you're ready for it. Spitfire's voice trailed off as she suddenly realized the pony she was yelling at was not shrinking back like usual. In fact, she was looking quite mad. And was that a horn on her head? It was, she concluded, and she just made possibly the biggest mistake of her career, yelling at the newly returned Princess Luna. Uh-oh. Uh-oh indeed, Luna seethed, flaring her magic, turning the white clouds black as the wind blew and thunder rumbled. Never in my centuries of life has a pony has such brash gold brush aside an apology for such a minor mistake. Why, if I felt so inclined, I would be having you fly circles till your wings bleed. However, Luna said, calming down, the wind and thunder dying away, I have a use for a pony of your talents. Humor me, and I'll overlook this little scuffle, and it need not go any further than that. Wait, so you're not going to banish me or court-martial me, or send me to the moon or something? Well, I can arrange that if you really want. The moon isn't all that bad, really, Luna replied with a smirk. Spitfire laughed uncertainly, unsure if Luna was joking or not. I see. And what can I do for you, Princess Luna? Nothing much. I simply find myself in need of a sparring partner, and you look like you would be up to the task. What say you, Captain Spitfire? Think you can keep up with an alicorn? When Spitfire had accepted her challenge, Luna did not ignore it. Imagine it would lead to her joining the Mare in the Wonderbolt's locker room, struggling in vain to pull a flight suit over her body. Even with her reduced size, Luna was still slightly bigger than the average pony, and her size was showing as her frame was forced into a skin-tight suit, the material stretching particularly tight against her nether region. Must we wear these? I fail to see the point of needing such attire for only a minor challenge. Their standard issue, Spitfire replied. Every Wonderbolt and Wonderbolt in training wears a flight suit to help with wind resistance, rain, and bunch of other stuff. These suits are designed to help you fly faster and provide protection, and it will help you blend in more. I remind you, you were the one that didn't want to draw a lot of attention. Also, the news ponies have been hounding to see me without clothes, and I'm not looking to be some Snoop's exclusive. So please just wear the suit. First I hide my horn, change my coat color, and now this. The lynx one must go for a good spark partner. She better be worth the effort. Is not wearing clothes such scandalous thing now? Luna asked the captain. From what she's observed, it seems ponies, at least in Canterlot, like to wear more clothes than way back when only nobles could afford to. But there were still a lot of ponies that didn't too, such as in Ponyville. Spitfire leaned against a locker and sighed. Only if you're famous. Famous. Does that mean you're very well known, correct? Meaning you are renowned or legendary for doing a great feat? If I may ask, what deed did you do? Have you slain a terrible monster? Or perhaps fought off a dragon? I've done some of that, Spitfire said, looking up at the ceiling. But that's not why I'm famous. I've flown dozens of missions for Princess Celestia, risking life and limb. But what every pony praises me for isn't my military record, but the tricks I do for the crowds during our shows. Ponies would be surprised to find out I've done anything other than perform tricks for crowds. You wish to be recognized for your heroic deeds, then? Spitfire shook her head. No. Well, yes, actually, but are you done getting that suit on yet? That rude, demeaning tone of voice again. Luckily for Spitfire, Luna found it rather charming. Thus she decided to drop the matter of the Wonderbolt's fame, as it seemed to be a sore topic for her. Now to defeat her skin-tight nemesis. Revealing her horn, Luna grabbed the suit with her magic and pulled, the skin-tight fabric slowly moving across her coat till a sudden slip, and it was in place. Moving around, Luna found the suit to be very unrestricting, acting almost like a second skin against her body. Her wings sprung free out of the slits located on the side of the suit, and she gave them a good stretch. These flight suits might not be so bad, just for one little thing that was still bothering her. Must these be so tight in thy loins? Spitfire chuckled as she led Luna out the door. Be happy you're not a stallion. That image stuck in her head. Luna couldn't help but blush at the thought of perhaps seeing sixes in such attire. Thinking of her old friend quickly brought down her cheery mood, as she was once again reminded that he and the others were gone. Perhaps nothing but dust and bone by now. Hey, are you okay? Spitfire asked. They were outside now, about to take off for their challenge, but more importantly, something to distract her from her depressing state of mind. I'm fine. Just thinking of some old friends. Let us begin our challenge. As I am the one who issued the challenge, you may select the arena, and I shall choose the style of combat. This arena over here is free. It had plenty of obstacles and cloud cover, perfect for summoning thunder clouds and such. Luna nodded with approval. Good choice. We shall compete in air combat. To be fair, I shall not use my unicorn magic. The ground rules made and agreed upon. Both mares ready themselves for battle. Luna observed Spitfire going through her stretches. The mare was in top physical shape. The Princess of the Night was impressed. Perhaps there was hope yet for this new generation of warriors. Nonetheless, Luna had her own stretches to go through. Taking a deep breath, she looked into herself, letting her magic rise like a fire throughout her body, warming her muscles and sharpening her mind to a razor's edge. Ready, Princess? Spitfire taunted. Born ready, replied Luna, scooping up a pluff of cloud with her hoof. The cloud blackened and cracked with thunder, unleashing her old friend Nightingale's favorite move, the thunder hoof, upon the Wonderbolt's captain before Spitfire had a chance to know what hit her. Thunder crackled and lightning exploded in every direction, ripping the cloud asunder. From the other side of the arena, Spitfire stood atop a mountain of clouds, looking flushed and panting for breath from avoiding the attack. She hadn't been expecting such an attack right off the bat, or at all. What kind of spar is this? She cried out as Luna gathered up more bits of cloud. The kind that can leave you hurting if you don't take it seriously. I know not how you do things in this day and age, but I'll be doing things the old-fashioned way. Spitfire yelled as she jumped over to another cloud as a bolt of lightning tore the one she was standing on apart. Quickly she scooped up a pile of cloud, turning it black and tossing it just in time to block Luna's next attack. She knew about the Thunderhoof. It was the first attack they learned after becoming Wonderbolts. It was considered the granddaddy of all cloud-based attacks. The Thunderhoof could be used as close, mid, or long-range attack, depending on the user. Spitfire found it to be no surprise that the Princess of all ponies would know the most advanced form. The technique was made 1,000 years ago. Reluctantly, she could have known the creator. That being said, many more techniques have been invented over the years. Techniques that could definitely outpower the Thunderhoof. There was just the issue of getting enough time to set them up. The Thunderhoof may not be the most powerful technique, but it could be easily charged and used in under a second. Making a break for it, Spitfire broke from her cover carrying 4 tufts of clouds, one in each hoof, and tossing them at Luna's incoming attacks, matching her thunderhoof with the princess while she prepared for her real attack, while she ducked behind cover again. From her position, Luna wondered what Spitfire could be up to. The yellow mare has done well to counter her, and seems to be preparing to engage her in close quarters. Deciding to wait and see what Spitfire had in store for her, Luna held her position, keeping a storm cloud at the ready just in case. Spitfire burst out from underneath and circled around Luna in a spiral, leaving a trail of black storm clouds in her wake, forming a cage of crackling storm clouds around the princess. At the top of the cage, Spitfire turned, delivering a thunder-charged punch at the highest point. "Thunder Cage!" she roared, activating the attack. Bolts of lightning traveled down the spiral of clouds, creating a complex network of lightning strikes. Spitfire smirked as a full charge of the attack focused in on Luna. However, her smirk vanished as Luna held up her hoof, holding a pitch black cloud, and punched at the gathering lightning strikes. The 2 attacks struck, and a huge explosion followed. Spitfire was sent flying and crashed through several clouds before stopping with smoke rising off her body, while Luna stood where she was with her flight suit in tatters and sporting several burns. "Perhaps," Luna said, coughing up black smoke, "we should call it a day." Spitfire laid back inside, her body numb from the shocks. "Agreed." Back in the Wonderbolt locker room, Luna stretched her sore muscles. She could feel the drastic difference in her power already, and for that she was thankful for Spitfire's assistance. Celestia and her doctor suggested to tame and steady workout, but nothing really got your magic organs working like real fight, or in this case intense spar. Already she could feel the growth in her magic reserves, thus increasing her all over. A couple more spars like this and she could be back to normal in no time. Would you like me to escort you back to the castle, princess? I know the guards there must be searching frantically for you. Having me with you should calm them down. Fine, Luna agreed, not really caring. She was just happy to spend more time with Spitfire. The Wonderbolt captain reminded Luna a lot of Nightingale. But only if you call me Luna. I don't like my friends calling me princess. The blush on Spitfire's cheeks was quite amusing. Alright, but only in private. I have a personal appearance to keep up. Luna smiled. Of course. Come, let us return to the castle. Actually, Spitfire said, having a sudden thought, since you're still in disguise, Luna, would you like to come and hang out with me and the other Wonderbolts? We're meeting up at our usual bar for some fun. It would be a great chance for you to mingle with every pony. An interesting idea. Very well, I shall accept. Alright. Luna followed Spitfire to the speedier part of Canterlot. Her disguise still active, Luna took pleasure in the fact she looked like any other Pegasus right now. Ponies weren't scrambling to get out of her way, planting their faces in the dirt, or any of the other things that came with being a princess. It has been so long since she felt, well, like a normal pony. With her power reduced, she could hide herself much longer than she could in the past. Before, when she donned a disguise, she would have to suppress her magic so ponies couldn't sense it was her. She and Celestia learned in their first attempt to hide among the common ponies that even if they changed their appearance, they still had much more magic than the average pony. They could hide their magic for an hour before it became too much to hold back and they would blow their covers. I wonder what I look like. When crafting her current disguise, she had failed to put any thought into when Spitfire first suggested it and had yet to look in a mirror. The spell she cast made her look different to others. But if she wouldn't see any different unless she were to look in a mirror. As they passed a window shop, Luna took a moment to look at her reflection and was once again assaulted with bad memories. She was green. Not just green. She was a beautiful shade of emerald. The same shade as her old friend Emerald Cutter, one of her night hunters. The first pony that tried to stop her when she became Nightmare Moon. An image of Emerald lying on the ground with a hole in her barrel and covered in blood appeared in the window, startling Luna, making her step back into the street. She was so in shock that Luna didn't notice the carriage coming at her, till Spitfire pushed her out of the way. "Whoa, that was close," said Spitfire, while she pats Luna down for any injuries. Wonderful breathed a sigh of relief when she found none, though the blank look in the princess' eyes did have Starfire feeling worry. "Hey, are you alright? Are you not feeling well? If you're not, just say so and I'll take you back to the castle. We can hang out another time." Luna shook her head, a deep frown marrying her features as she did so. No, I'm fine. What I really need right now is a drink of hard cider." "Well, you're in luck because we're here. Welcome to the Rusty Horseshoe." The building Spitfire was enthusiastically presenting to her was, for the most part, a dump. In the sense that it seemed the owner did not care to take care of his property. From what she's read of the recent building code, something they didn't have 1,000 years ago, this establishment is probably due to be shut down sometime in the near future if something is not done to fix it soon. "How charming," said Luna as they entered the bar. Inside, smoke filled the room, and there was a roar of chatter mixed with music. In the corner of the room, a blue and white-haired mare waved them over. "That's Fleetfoot. She's another Wonderbolt. I'll introduce you. On second thought, do I tell her you're a princess?" Luna didn't get a chance to answer when Fleetfoot ran up to meet them. "Hey, Spitz! Who's your friend?" "This is the awesome mystery recruit I heard about earlier. She doesn't look like much, I heard she gave you a run for your bits. Spitfire nervously scratched her mane. Yeah, she's a potential recruit. She's Emerald Moon, said Luna, extending her hoof to the Blue Wonderbolt. A pleasure to meet you, Fleetfoot. Captain Spitfire has spoken well of you. She speaks a bit formally. She's some noble's kid. Some pony's asking you for favors against bits. Not wanting the slight to spread too wildly out of control, Luna decided to cut to the chase and change the subject to something more pressing and much more alluring. My heritage is of no importance, nor is my mannerisms. What is important is whether or not you can hold your liquor, Miss Fleetfoot. Oh, I like her. But you can drop the miss part. Just call me Fleetfoot, or Fleet for short. Hey, bartender, bring us a bottle of Applejack Sucker Punch Hard Cider. Luna interrupted, causing the entire bar to gasp. The bartender handed her a bottle with a smirk. She tasted this brand of cider before. It was said to be so strong that it felt like some pony hit you in the face. It was not a drink for the meek. Taking the bottle, Luna uncorked it, and much to the amazement of the entire bar, took one long, 10-second gulp. Her face scrunched inwards, the alcohol burning her throat, making her feel lightheaded, but she stood strong and remained standing. Who's next? She said, offering the bottle. Reluctantly, Fleetfoot took it and tried to match her, and it did not go well for the Blue Pegasus, as she gulped down 5 seconds of the bottle and started swaying on her hooves. Luna watched with amusement as Fleetfoot twirled around the room before finally went crashing into the wall and fell over unconscious. Luna chuckled as she trotted over to the fallen mare. Taking her, she hadn't hurt herself. Finding any serious injuries and finding comfort in the fact Fleetfoot was sound asleep, the Princess of the Night turned to the crowd and held up the bottle of cider in challenge. Shall we partake in a drinking challenge? Good Night frantically flew down the dark alleys of Camelot, sweat running down his brow like a river. He's been flying all night. He was tired both mentally and physically, but he could not rest, not without finding his charge, Princess Luna. How could have he lost track of her? She was an Alicorn princess. There's only 2, okay, 3 of them in all of Equestria. But how can no pony not seen her? All Goodnight had to go on was that Luna was last spotted heading towards the Wonderbolt's Camelot flight camp, and had been seen with Captain Spitfire of the Wonderbolts before disappearing. Spitfire was later seen with the Green Pegasus afterward. He cursed under his breath. How could he have been so foolish? The Green Mare was Luna. Casting a simple illusion spell could be easy for her, even if she was in a weakened state. So logically speaking, to find Luna, he must find Spitfire, and to find Spitfire on a Friday night was to go to the Rusty Horseshoe, meaning Princess Luna was there, at a bar, with Spitfire, who was notorious for getting hammered. I'm gonna get court-martialed for this. Goodnight soared as fast as he could to the bar. Landing hard, he dashed inside to find every pony knocked out except for Luna, was sitting in the middle of the room with bright red rosy cheeks and a bottle between her hooves. I guess, hiccup, I win. She fell over, Goodnight catching her before she touched the ground. Slowly and carefully, he carried the princess on his back out of the bar and took off toward the castle. His body tensed as she rubbed her cheeks along the back of his neck, making him very grateful when he landed on her balcony. Quickly he placed her on the bed and covered her up with a blanket, and slowly he retreated, ready to get out as fast as he could, only to bump into some pony on his way out. Seems my sister had a fun night, the voice of Princess Celestia said behind him. Goodnight cringed, thinking this was it. He was going to the moon, to the sun. However, he was in for a surprise as Princess Celestia levitated him out of the room, gently shutting the door behind him. Let's let her get her sleep. We have a public event in the morning, and I imagine she'll not be in the mood for it. I'll have to get the staff to make her favorite coffee to raise her spirits. Goodnight watched like a deer in headlights as the Sun Princess went about her musing, still waiting for some sort of rebuke or condemnation for her, but none came even as she finished talking and began to walk away. The smart thing to do would have been keep quiet, but she couldn't help but speak up. You're not mad at me, Princess? Celestia paused and looked strangely. Mad? Whatever for? My sister ordered you to leave her be, and you did, and you brought her home safely. I consider that a job well done. Keep that up, and she might start to like you more. But I brought her back drunk. Celestia chuckled. She's over 1,500 years old. I think she can make her own choices. Besides, I'm her sister, not her mother. Now, good night. Good night. I expect a great deal from you, as does Luna. She does? He replied stupidly. Celestia smiled widened at his comment, and she waved goodbye, leaving Goodnight baffled and confused. Morning. Luna awoke the following morning with a massive headache. The only relief she received was that of the soft sheets caressing her body. The bed was the perfect temperature, making her one just laze about in bed. Laze. She knew she could not. There was a public appearance today. Her first public appearance since Ponyville. And it would be damning if she did not show up. Namely, those nosy news ponies wouldn't leave her alone if she didn't show. Flinging the warm blankets off with her wing, Luna crawled out of bed, noting the nest that was her mane, but choosing to ignore it for now. Eyes heavy with sleep, she stomped out of her room and into the hallway, passing by a barely awake Goodnight. Go to your barracks and rest, Goody. Somebody else would take your spot today. she told the sleepy stallion. He gave a weak salute and trotted off, her eyes following him as he walked away. She had the vaguest memory of flying last night, and Luna knew she had not been in no condition to fly. She had been certain Good Night had flown her back to the castle. But looking at him, she couldn't see any wings on him. Strange, Luna mused, wondering if perhaps somebody else had flown her back. Deciding to leave the matter for now, Luna trotted down to the dining hall, where Celestia was already eating. Sitting across from the Sun Princess was a big cup of hazelnut coffee, Luna's favorite. Eagerly, Luna sat down and raised the steaming hot beverage to lips, ready to taste the brew's stress-relieving goodness. "Breakfast time is over, Your Majesties. We have to be moving on," the shrill voice of Timekeeper said with the infernal ticking of his, he was a he, Luna confirmed, pocket watch's ticking. Luna took one look at the thin stallion, grabbed the watch with her magic, and slammed it closed and placed it on the table next to her. When Timekeeper tried to retrieve the watch, she held it down with her magic, preventing him from retrieving it. Across the room, Celestia chuckled wearily, knowing exactly the mood Luna was in. "A few more minutes, please, Timekeeper. Princess Luna is not a morning pony." The thin stallion grumbled, but nodded and left, muttering about this and that and what adjustments would be needed to be made for today's schedule. Luna paid him no mind and sips her coffee, enjoying the taste, because she was feeling it was going to be the only enjoyable thing for her today. "Ready to go?" asked Celestia, after several tense minutes. "I suppose," Luna replied, setting down her empty cup. It was going to be a full day today. Museum visits, followed by some more public appearances and a parade. What a day this was going to be.